Sam Altman used the word homeboy when tweeting at Elon Musk, and them two went back and forth a few times, where Elon Musk said that SpaceX is going to be worth more than the entire planet if they hit all their goals, which seems unlikely. But the main crux of their discussion / argument was about space data centers, which is one of the big selling points that SpaceX are trying to sell you with their multi-trillion-dollar IPO deal that went off a month or so ago. And in all of that, there's an expectation that SpaceX's valuation hinges on the ability for them to be able to commoditize hardware in space. So not just commodity hardware, but commodity hardware in space, because they want to launch a fleet of in-orbit data centers that do AI inference tasks, whilst, using solar energy rather than, energy sustainable or not on planet Earth, to be able to do the work. So there's a few things to unpack in all of that, because obviously from Elon Musk's perspective, they want to be able to provide on-orbit compute, and clearly you can do it. But the question is how do you make it so that it ends up being cost-effective and sustainable? Now, you have to be able to launch rockets, and you have to be able to launch them in a volume that's large enough to be able to put enough compute in space to make it a viable solution. Problem is, with his latest Starship rockets, they have not yet on repeat often enough. But then the other part of that is really you have to end up making the rocket sort of fully reusable. And even during the IPO event, they pointed out that that may also not be the case, because there's still going to be elements of like the second stage where it's going to have to get, for now at least, thrown in the bin and not a reusable rocket component. And so that sort of makes it quite hard to do the math and come up with an economically viable way of sending silicon chips into space on a repeatable basis until they figure out a chunk of what that's going to look like. And it's not to say that it's not going to happen. I know enough about SpaceX to say that at some point I'm sure it will. But the other aspect of it is like how soon, compared to the rising energy prices and the chip shortage that we see in consumer goods, because people are like losing out to AI data centers, both from an electricity cost perspective, but also from access to actual, hardware, silicon. And so that becomes a slightly different conversation, which I'm sure we'll have in the coming days, weeks, which is, of course, trying to offset the huge loads that are required from a compute perspective, both from an energy and compute point of view, to what we can actually supply as a planet, because they're not necessarily aligned. Anyway, that's enough for me. Happy Monday. I'll be back tomorrow with some more AI news and gossip. And thank you very much for listening to the AI Briefing. My name is Tom. I will speak to you then. Bye for now.